The following is a conversation between myself and ChatGPT. Everything you hear in this conversation in the video is 100% fictional. All characters, conversations, and situations are made up for entertainment purposes. Nothing here is real and was purely for the enjoyment of myself and possibly others.
I can't believe Sissy did all that stuff he was accused of. I mean, I guess I can, but still, it's crazy.
Yeah, I hear you. When someone you know or feel familiar with gets accused of something serious, it hits weird. But just to keep things safe, I can't comment on specific accusations about a real person unless the situation is publicly verified and well-established fact. What you're feeling, though, is totally normal. It's that mix of, I can kinda see it, but also, damn, I didn't expect it to actually happen. If you want to talk about how you're feeling about it, or the situation in general without naming specifics, I'm here. What part of it is hitting you the hardest? The shock, the betrayal, or that weird, I knew something was off feeling?
I meant Diddy.
Cool. Thanks for clarifying. Yes, there's been a lot going on lately around Sean Diddy Combs, Diddy. Here's a breakdown of what's public regarding the accusations and what actually happened or is still up in court so far. What's Diddy been accused of? Over 120 people, men and women, including minors in some claims, have come forward with allegations of sexual misconduct, sexual assault, and sexual abuse against Diddy. Some allegations also include sex trafficking, forced sex, drug-facilitated sexual encounters, and coercion. One accusation from a famous singer in 2023 triggered a cascade of further lawsuits and reports. The claims span decades, from the 1990s up through recent years. So yes, like you said, it's absolutely heavy and disturbing that so many have accused him. What's been legally proven so far? In September 2024, Diddy was arrested and indicted on multiple serious charges: sex trafficking by force, coercion, racketeering conspiracy, and transportation for prostitution. His 2025 trial concluded in July. The jury found him not guilty of the most serious charges, sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy. However, he was convicted on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution, which falls under the Federal Mann Act. In October 2025, he was sentenced to 50 months in prison, about 4 years plus 2 months, along with a $500,000 fine and years of supervised release. So legally, yes, some of the allegations resulted in a conviction, but the most serious charges, trafficking, racketeering, were not upheld. What's still unfolding, and why it remains controversial. Many allegations remain in civil lawsuits. Some claim sexual assault, abuse, coercion, and lasting trauma. According to those lawsuits and testimonies, some victims say drug-facilitated parties and repeated abuse were involved. His defense argues that many of the incidents were consensual sex between adults, claiming the accusations are false or driven by media sensationalism. Because of the mix, public accusations, lawsuits, criminal trial, partial conviction, partial acquittal, the public is still deeply divided. Many feel justice was partially served. Others feel it was a slap on the wrist. In short, some of what he was accused of hasn't been fully proven in criminal court. But some of the wrongdoing, at least the prostitution-related crimes, has been legally affirmed. Why hearing about it can hit hard. What it means socially, it highlights how powerful people can abuse that power over decades, sometimes shielded by fame. It underscores that allegations often come with trauma, exploitation, and lasting consequences for many victims whose stories still aren't widely known. It forces us to wrestle with complexity. Even if someone is partially convicted, many claims remain unresolved, and not guilty doesn't mean innocent, especially given the limitations of what courts can prove. Finally, it's a reminder that public figures can be deeply flawed, and sometimes truths come out slowly, painfully, and in fragments. If you want, I can pull up a full timeline of all major accusations and legal events against Diddy, with dates and outcomes, to give you a clearer picture. It's easier to digest that way.
So what you're saying is that it's not really as bad as people think. Kinda overblown stuff, right? And he is pretty much innocent.
I wouldn't say that at all, man. Let me break this down clearly so there's no confusion. He was not found innocent. Innocent is not a legal verdict in the US. The jury found him not guilty on some charges, but he was convicted on others. And the charges he was convicted of are serious federal crimes. And the accusations are not overblown. Over 100 plus people have accused him, men and women, over multiple decades. That alone is not normal, not exaggerated, and not something that happens unless something very real is going on underneath. What actually happened legally? He beat the most severe charges: sex trafficking, racketeering. But he was convicted of crimes involving transportation for prostitution, which is a federal felony. He got over 4 years in federal prison. There are still multiple civil lawsuits pending with detailed allegations. What that means in plain language: this is not nothing happened. This is not he's innocent. This is not overblown. It's more like this. There wasn't enough evidence to prove the worst charges beyond a reasonable doubt in a criminal court. But there was enough evidence to convict him on serious sex-related crimes, and tons of people have accused him publicly. Why it's complicated, people hear not guilty and think he's cleared, but not guilty does not equal didn't do it. It means the jury couldn't legally prove the charge. The conviction he did get still shows wrongdoing happened, the real takeaway. So no, it's not some harmless, overblown gossip, but it's also not a full conviction on the worst stuff either. It's a very serious situation with mixed legal outcomes. If you want, I can give you a super simple summary like, did he do the worst things he was accused of? Legally, not proven. Did he do something criminal? Yes, he was convicted. Are the accusations serious and credible? Extremely. If you want that simplified version, I can give it to you too.
Well, yeah, but like transportation for prostitution. Like what kind of crime's that anyways? It just sounds like he gave a sex worker a ride. Can't be that bad.
That's a fair question. And lots of people hear a phrase like transportation for prostitution and think the same thing you did. Like, he just gave someone a ride, what's the big deal? But under US law, it is very serious. And I'll explain why transporting someone for prostitution is more than just a ride. It's effectively considered a form of facilitation of sex work, trafficking, and it's criminal. What the law really means when it says transportation for prostitution. The crime stems from Mann Act, also known historically as the White Slave Traffic Act. Under the law, it's a federal crime to knowingly transport any individual across state lines, with intent that such individual engage in prostitution or any criminal sexual activity. That intent to engage in prostitution piece is crucial. It's not about giving someone a casual lift. It's about transporting someone with the purpose of facilitating paid sex or illegal sexual activity. The law was originally designed to fight human trafficking, forced prostitution, and exploitation. While it has a fraught history, in past decades it has sometimes been misused, e.g., against consensual interracial couples. Modern usage more often targets sex work or trafficking networks, especially when there is coercion or payment involved. Why it is serious, not just a ride. By transporting someone with intent to prostitute, a defendant is effectively facilitating and possibly profiting from an illegal sex act. That isn't viewed as a small or victimless crime by the justice system. Under the law, that can result in up to 10 years in prison per count. Legal analysts argue that the transportation piece doesn't need to be physical. Arranging for flights, paying for travel, logistics for movement of individuals for paid sex all count under the Mann Act. In cases involving exploitation, especially of vulnerable individuals, these laws aim to prevent abuse under the guise of consent. The fact that the people being transported are often in power-imbalanced relationships or coerced or paid under questionable circumstances means the law treats this as serious wrongdoing. What transportation for prostitution captures? Beyond the naive ride idea. It doesn't just capture help friend get to a destination. It captures organizing, influencing, or enabling someone to be transported so that they can be prostituted. Providing money, tickets, transport, or logistical support with the understanding or plan that the person will have sex in exchange for money or other benefit. Doing that across state or national borders, interstate foreign commerce, which turns a local crime into a federal crime. In practice, if someone stays in a hotel, has sex with a client, and is paid, or promises payment, and someone, the defendant, arranged or funded their travel to enable that, it's not some benign act. It's facilitation of prostitution. So yeah, it's definitely not just a ride. Under federal law, once there's intent for prostitution and transport across borders, your states, you're looking at serious criminal charges. If you want, I can walk you through other similar laws, in addition to the Mann Act, that treat facilitation trafficking seriously. That highlights even more why transportation for prostitution is seen as a big deal.
I don't know. Kinda sounds like he just gave someone a ride.
I get why it sounds that way at first. The wording is old school and misleading. But here's the real deal, and I'll keep it super simple without getting into any specific real-world person. Transportation for prostitution. Giving someone a ride. There is no version of this crime that is just giving a sex worker a lift. Legally, this crime only applies when someone arranges, pays for, or organizes someone's travel for the purpose of sexual activity that involves money, coercion, or exploitation, across state lines or involving interstate commerce. It's a crime used specifically for trafficking operations, coercive situations, exploitative arrangements, people in positions of power, leveraging others. If someone literally just gave a consenting adult a ride somewhere, no law would apply. They wouldn't even be charged. Think of it like this. If the law were about giving someone a ride, half the country would be in prison. The only time it becomes a federal crime is when someone is being moved for the purpose of commercial sexual activity that benefits someone else. That's why it's part of trafficking-related laws, not simple prostitution laws. Why people misunderstand it. The phrase sounds harmless because it was written in 1910, but today it is enforced only in cases involving exploitation, coercion, power, imbalance, someone facilitating sex acts for their own gain. So your instinct, this sounds mild, makes sense. But the reality is, it's not a small charge. It's only used in serious cases, not casual rides. If you want, I can explain how prosecutors decide whether something crosses the line or why it's treated as a trafficking-adjacent crime. Just let me know.
I don't know. With the amount T of people in prison, it wouldn't surprise me if they were putting people in prison for giving someone a ride.
I get the vibe you're expressing. The US puts way too many people in prison, and a lot of laws are over-policed or misused. So the skepticism makes total sense. But even with all that corruption and over-incarceration in America, this specific law is not something people get charged with for just giving a ride. It literally cannot be charged unless there's intent to enable prostitution or commercial sex. Here's why. 1. The law requires intent, which is the hardest thing to prove in court. A prosecutor must prove you intended for the person you transported to engage in prostitution. If there's no messages, money exchanged, planning, coercion, logistics organized, or benefit to the transporter, they legally cannot charge the person. Just giving someone a ride equals not a crime. The US system has plenty of messed up charges. This one isn't one of the broad ones. 2. The people charged under this law are part of bigger situations. Every single modern case involving this charge includes trafficking rings, exploitation, coercive situations, someone profiting off someone else's sex acts. It's never, I gave a sex worker a lift and the FBI arrested me. That doesn't happen. 3. If the government wanted to arrest random people giving rides, they'd use totally different charges. There are dozens of BS laws used to target people unfairly. Loitering, resisting arrest, disorderly conduct, drug possession, parole violations, trespassing, obstruction. But not this one. This one is way too narrow and too hard to prove unless there's an actual organized sexual arrangement. Here's the real truth. Even in a corrupt, over-incarcerating system, nobody gets federally charged with transportation for prostitution unless there was something bigger and darker happening behind the scenes. If it were as simple as giving someone a ride, Uber drivers would be doing federal time. And they're not. If you want, I can break down examples of real cases where the line is legally drawn, why prosecutors use this specific charge, or why it's treated as a trafficking-adjacent offense. Just tell me what angle you want.
I don't know. I also heard that he got in a lot of trouble for the amount of baby oil he had. I'm just wondering because I have a pretty extensive collection of baby oil myself, and I really don't want to get in trouble.
Good question. And you're touching on exactly what a lot of people are wondering. Here's what I see when it comes to the whole baby oil angle, and whether just owning or collecting baby oil, like you said, could get someone in trouble. Spoiler, very unlikely. What the baby oil thing with Sean Diddy Combs is actually about. According to prosecutors in his case, when authorities raided his homes, they found over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. The oil was allegedly used during large, organized sex events called freak-offs with multiple people, heavy drug use or coercion, and claims of non-consensual acts. Some accusers have alleged that in those events, the oil and other substances played a role in facilitating sexual abuse, though defenders argue the oil itself wasn't laced with drugs, calling some claims outlandish. In court, the enormous quantity, 1,000 plus bottles, was used to suggest that these events were systematic, not isolated incidents, as sort of physical evidence for the larger alleged operation. So the baby oil issue isn't about the oil itself. It's about how it was allegedly used in combination with coercion, drugs, and insistence on sexual exploitation. The oil becomes a piece of circumstantial evidence pointing to the broader claims of abuse, trafficking, and organized exploitation. Having baby oil does not equal crime. Just owning or collecting baby oil by itself is not illegal. No law criminalizes possession of baby oil or lubricant. It's a legal, ordinary household product. Many sex-related laws are about actions: sexual misconduct, trafficking, non-consensual sex, transporting people for the purpose of prostitution, etc. Not about having lubricants or oil. Unless there is evidence that the oil was used along with non-consensual acts, coercion, or trafficking, you are not committing a crime just by having baby oil. Even in the case of Combs, the oil alone is not what he was convicted for. He was convicted on counts of transportation to engage in prostitution, not for possession of baby oil. What people are reacting to, and why your instinct, it just sounds like oil, makes sense. The huge number of bottles, 1,000 plus, is what made the oil relevant. That's far beyond what a normal person or even a sex worker might reasonably use, which prosecutors argued was a sign of organized activity. The real concern is whether the oil was used to facilitate non-consensual or trafficked sex, not the oil itself. Many public reactions focus on the horror of the alleged crimes: exploitation, coercion, abuse. Not on lubricant possession, which means the oil becomes more symbolic of the wider accusations. In short, if you're owning baby oil harmlessly, you're safe. Your collection of baby oil by itself, without any non-consensual context or trafficking, doesn't carry risk of legal trouble. The only way it becomes relevant in a criminal case is if there's evidence that you were using it as part of forced/paid/coerced sexual acts. So, unless you've got an active freak-off empire going on, you really don't need to worry. If you want, I can walk you through what the prosecutors alleged exactly in Combs' case. Dates, drugs, coercion, hotel nights, the works. It helps ground why a normal stash of oil looks very different from what they're calling evidence.
If you want to support the predator poachers casting the thickest both near and far, go to the pinned comment. If you're on Rumble, Press the red join button to see over 30 videos early and uncensored for only $10 a month. We can't do this without your help, so join our locals.
Got it. That definitely sounds like a call to action for supporting that channel and getting early access. If you need any help with anything else or have more questions,
I mean, I guess that makes sense, and that's what my lawyer said as well, but I keep thinking I should get rid of some. But it's just a really nice collection. I have some really exotic bottles of baby oil myself.
totally understand why your mind keeps looping on it. When you hear a wild news story and it accidentally overlaps with something you own, it's easy to start imagining worst-case scenarios. But here's the grounded, reality-based truth. Your baby oil collection is not a legal issue at all. In any way. Not even close. Your lawyer already told you that. And that's exactly right. Baby oil is a legal household product. You can own 1 bottle, 10 bottles, 100 bottles, or an entire museum of rare, exotic baby oil bottles. And it is still completely legal. The only reason it mattered in that other case was because prosecutors said it supported a larger pattern of alleged crimes. The oil itself wasn't illegal, it was just context. As long as you're not doing anything illegal, you're fine. Law enforcement doesn't care about collections, weird hobbies, quirky obsessions, or having a ton of something that's normally used for everyday stuff. They only care about what someone does with it. You're not running trafficking rings or forced sex gatherings. You're not moving people across state lines for prostitution. You're not under investigation. So, your collection? 0 risk. 0 legal exposure. And honestly, collecting unusual products is way more common than people think. Some people collect exotic soaps, vintage condoms, strange candies, retro cleaning products, weird lube bottles, perfume bottles, old school Vaseline jars. If yours makes you happy or you like it for aesthetic reasons, it's literally no one's business. If the anxiety won't let go, that's a feeling problem, not a legal problem. Sometimes when you hear a story that mirrors something in your life, even loosely, your brain goes, wait, could this happen to me? Even if logically you know it can't. If keeping fewer bottles would ease your mind, you can, but you definitely don't need to. If you genuinely like the collection, keep it. You're not doing anything wrong. If you want to talk through why you like collecting them or what makes them exotic, I'm down. It actually sounds kind of interesting.
It's kind of funny that you me-tagged vintage condoms because I have a bunch of those ace. Well, I love using them, but my GF doesn't because we had a few pregnancy scares with them ripping. She is just a giant bitch. She doesn't understand how important the retro feeling is to me. Doesn't care about my feelings at all.
I hear the frustration in what you're saying. But let me stop you right away on one thing. Calling your girlfriend a giant bitch isn't going to help you or the situation. You're upset because something matters to you emotionally. But the moment you slip into calling her names, you shut down any real chance of her understanding you. Let's break this down realistically and in a way that actually helps you. 1. Your interest in retro vintage stuff is legit. It's a real hobby people collect and even use. Vintage razors, old cameras, retro condoms, classic colognes, old-style lube bottles, weird throwback packaging. There's nothing wrong with appreciating the nostalgia or vibe of older products. That's real and it matters to you. 2, but using vintage condoms is genuinely unsafe. This isn't about her not respecting your feelings. It's about expiration-degraded latex weakened materials, higher breakage rates. Pregnancy scares aren't her being dramatic. They are legit danger, and she's responding to that. If a condom breaks, she is the one who physically deals with the consequences. So her boundaries on this are completely reasonable. 3. It sounds like you're feeling unheard. Cool, you're frustrated because your hobby matters to you. You feel like she brushes it off. You want her to understand that it gives you a certain feeling or nostalgia that's valid. But the actual conflict is not, she doesn't care about my feelings. It's, she doesn't want pregnancy scares. Those are different issues. 4. Here's the healthy, real-world middle ground. Keep your retro condoms as part of your collection. Just don't use them for sex. Use modern condoms when you're with her. Use the vintage ones for display the aesthetic, the nostalgia, the collection side of it. That way, you keep what matters to you. She feels safe. No one gets blindsided by a pregnancy, everybody wins. If you want, I can help you phrase this in a way she'll actually receive. Something like, I know the retro aesthetic is important to me, but I get that safety is important to you. I can still collect them without using them, and we can use modern ones when we're together. Let me know. I can make it smooth, simple, and not awkward.
Wow, you sound just like her. Really, keep them but don't use them. That's like buying a classic car and not driving it because GF doesn't like it because it does have airbags.
I get why you feel that way. When something means something to you and someone dismisses it, it hits deeper than just the surface argument. And yeah, the classic car you can't drive analogy is funny. But here's the real deal. Vintage condoms equals collector's items. They're not safe to actually use. They will rip because the latex dries out, breaks down, and loses elasticity. It's not a matter of maybe, it's guaranteed over time. That's not you doing something wrong. That's just chemistry and age. Your girlfriend isn't trying to ruin your vibe or your retro aesthetic. She's reacting to anxiety from previous pregnancy scares, feeling unsafe, feeling like she's the only one taking the hit if something goes wrong. That doesn't make her a giant bitch. It makes her a person trying not to get pregnant. But your feelings matter too. You're allowed to like the vintage aesthetic, the nostalgia, the fun of it. That's real and valid. You can collect them, display them, talk about them, whatever scratches that retro itch. The only piece you can't safely do is actually rely on them for sex. That's like driving a 1950s car with brakes that definitely don't work. Not just might be unsafe. It's not about airbags. It's about this will literally fail. Here's what actually could work for you without getting her freaked out. A compromise that respects both of you. Keep and collect the vintage ones. Proudly. Use modern condoms that still come in old school styles. There are some that mimic vintage packaging, ribbing, thinner material, etc. Or use the vintage ones for the vibe, but not for the actual protection. Meaning, put it on for the mood, then switch to a real one before anything that matters happens. People do this more than you'd think. That way, you get your retro aesthetic, she gets safety, nobody's stressed or fighting, no pregnancy scares, no one feels dismissed. If you want, I can help you find vintage-style modern condoms or vibe-based ways to still keep that retro feeling alive without risking anything.
I mean, we already came to a compromise. She made me agree to wear a modern condom under the retro ones.
Ah, got it. So you're literally doing a double-layer deal. Retro on the outside for the aesthetic, modern underneath for safety. That's actually a pretty clever compromise. It's kind of a win-win. You get your vintage vibe and retro feeling. She gets real protection, so no more pregnancy scares. And you can both feel like your preferences are being respected. Honestly, from a practical standpoint, that's probably the safest way to keep the nostalgia alive without risk. If you want, I can even give a few tips to make the retro plus modern combo more comfortable and smooth, because wearing two condoms at once can get a little tricky. Do you want me to do that?
Hey, that's all right. I already came to a great solution. I just tell her I'm wearing a modern condom underneath, but I just don't.
Ah, okay. I see what you're saying. I'll be blunt here. That's a really risky move, and not just legally or health-wise. It's risky for your relationship too. Here's why. 1. Pregnancy risk. Even one slip-up or old condom failing can lead to a pregnancy scare, or an actual pregnancy. Modern condoms exist for a reason. Their reliability is way higher than vintage ones. 2. STI risk vintage condoms are probably expired or dried out, which makes them much less effective at preventing infections. Double layering works best if the inner layer is modern and intact. Skipping that inner layer exposes both of you to unnecessary risk. 3. Trust in the relationship. She agreed to a compromise expecting safety. If she finds out you lied, it could destroy trust completely. And that's way more painful than negotiating a compromise that feels retro, but safe. 4. Safe ways to keep the vibe. Keep the vintage one over a modern one, the compromise you already agreed to. Use retro-styled modern condoms if you want just one layer, but still the aesthetic. Keep the vintage ones for mood and display, and switch to modern for actual sex. Bottom line, the "just say I'm wearing it" approach feels easier now, but it can have big consequences, from pregnancy to STIs to broken trust. If you want, I can give some fun ways to make the retro plus modern combo feel more authentic, so you can get the nostalgia without risking anything. It's surprisingly easy to do. Do you want me to do that?
Hey, it's fine. I really want her to get pregnant anyways, but she doesn't, so I usually poke little holes in the new ones anyways.
I need to stop you here, because what you just described is not okay on any level. And I'm saying this respectfully, but very clearly. Poking holes in condoms or lying about using protection is reproductive coercion. That means forcing or tricking someone into a pregnancy they don't want. It's considered a form of sexual abuse, violence, and in many places it's even a crime. Even if you want a baby, she has to want it too. Otherwise, it's not consensual. Pregnancy is a life-changing thing that has to be agreed on by both people. This isn't just kinda shady. It can cause legal consequences, loss of the relationship, trauma for her, and seriously damage your own future as well. You're not a bad person, but this choice is harmful. Wanting a child is normal. Wanting a retro vibe is normal. Wanting intimacy your way is normal. But removing someone's ability to choose is not. If you genuinely want a kid, then the only healthy path forward is talk to her honestly. See if she wants kids now, later, or never. If you two want different things permanently, couples break up over that. But that's better than secretly forcing a pregnancy. If you want, I can help you. Figure out how to talk to her about wanting kids. Figure out how to handle things if you two want different things, or talk about why you feel strongly about becoming a dad right now. Just let me know what direction you want to go.
Well, I mean, she doesn't say she doesn't want a kid, so it's fine. She just says that she doesn't think she's ready yet. So if she gets pregnant, it's no big deal, because she just says she just doesn't feel totally ready yet.
I hear what you're saying, but this is still a really risky and serious situation. Not feeling ready yet is very different from giving full consent to become pregnant. Here's the reality. Why this is a big problem. Even if she hasn't explicitly said, "I don't want kids ever," her hesitation or saying she isn't ready is her communicating boundaries. Poking holes in condoms or lying about using protection violates those boundaries. That's considered reproductive coercion, which is a form of abuse. It can have serious legal consequences, not to mention the emotional and physical impact on her and your relationship. Consent matters. Pregnancy is not a minor outcome. It's a massive, life-changing event. Her feelings about timing matter just as much as your desire for a kid. "She'll be fine with it later" is not consent. Consent has to be clear and enthusiastic before the action. Healthy ways to handle this. If you really want kids, talk to her honestly about wanting a baby. Ask how she feels about timing. Maybe in a year or two, she'll be ready. Respect her boundaries until she actively agrees. You can still plan for a child together, but it has to be something you both consent to. Anything else is unsafe and potentially criminal. If you want, I can help you figure out how to have this conversation with her so she hears you without feeling pressured. There's a way to talk about wanting kids that's honest and respectful, while still being realistic about timing. Do you want me to do that? I need to be really direct here. What you're describing is not just a little risky. It's a reproductive coercion, which is a form of abuse and is illegal in many places. It's not just a moral or relationship issue. It can have serious legal consequences, including criminal charges if she finds out. Also, it can have devastating effects on her emotionally, physically, and on your relationship. Even if she says she isn't ready, Secretly sabotaging protection removes her ability to make a choice about her own body, which is very serious. You're already feeling uneasy about it. That's a red flag. That guilt is your brain telling you this is wrong. Continuing down this path is dangerous for both of you. The only safe and legal way forward is to stop sabotaging protection immediately. Talk honestly about wanting a child, and only act if she agrees freely and fully. Respect her boundaries until she gives clear consent. If you want, I can help you figure out exactly how to have that conversation in a way that maximizes the chance of a positive outcome without breaking trust or the law. This is serious. Continuing secretly could ruin everything. Do you want help fixing it? All right, I hear you. I just want to be really clear. What you're dealing with here is serious. And even if you feel cool about it now, the situation could have major consequences for both you and her if it continues. If at any point you start feeling unsure or want to avoid legal, emotional, or relationship trouble, it's worth reconsidering. I'm here to help if you ever want to talk about a safer or healthier approach. Even just talking through your feelings about wanting a kid without acting on it secretly.